This is baccalà arracanato from Molise. If you grew up in an Italian household, you are probably familiar with baccalà, salted cod. You might know it stewed in tomato sauce, fried, deep fried, but this recipe is different. Let me show you. Welcome back to Italian Food Therapy. My name is Manuela, and in this channel we explore Italian and Italian American dishes through history, culture and cooking, of course. Cod isn't a Mediterranean fish. It comes from the cold waters of the North Atlantic Ocean. Now, it's only during the Middle Ages, the late Middle Ages, that these fish arrived all the way to Southern Europe. This was thanks to new commercial routes that were open and that allowed these fish in the salted or sun-dried version to arrive all the way down to Italy. From foreigner, this ingredient quickly became a staple of the cuisines over there. Why? Because for many regions inland, it was difficult to access fresh seafood. Even if the coast wasn't that far, it was still a problem due to the lack of infrastructure to get fresh fish. So, when of course they had the chance to get some that could travel for a long time without getting spoiled, they took advantage of it. Especially because, according to the Christian and Catholic religions, there are certain times of the years in which meat is not allowed. For instance, now we are in Lent, so the few weeks before Easter, and especially on Fridays, meat is out of the menu. So salted cod, baccalà, became a recipe being made in so many ways. The recipe we're making comes from Molise, this tiny region where actually my family is from, and it's nestled between Abruzzo and Puglia. It's very little known, even by Italians themselves, therefore its cuisine too is a source of a mystery. So let me show you this hidden gem of a recipe. To make baccalà arracanato, of course, we would need baccalà. But I'm based in Texas and finding it was not that easy. So I decided to use fresh cod instead. To be honest, frozen cod, which makes me laugh because baccalà to be cooked needs to be soaked in water for many days before being cooked. While for this one, I just defrost it for a couple of hours. In any case, fresh or defrosted, you want some nice quality cod, which we are gonna simply place in a baking tray lined with baking paper. I'm going to add a pinch of salt and pepper on each fillet. Then I'm gonna put the tray on the side and get a large bowl. We're going to need stale bread, oregano, fresh or dried, garlic, pine nuts, or walnuts if you don't have any pine nuts. For the bread, you just want a small piece of stale bread and you want to crumble it. Very easy. You can cut it, use a food processor, but I'm just using my hands. Now we're gonna mix all the ingredients together. So, stale bread, oregano, a couple of cloves of garlic, finely minced, and 2 or 3 tablespoons of pine nuts or chopped walnuts. Now we add a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. So olive oil, salt and pepper, and we mix well. You really want the breadcrumbs to get tiny, so use your hands, the best tools in the kitchen, and try to massage the dressing while you are also crumbling more the bread. This is going to be a nice crust on top of the fish, so we don't want giant pieces of bread. Now we are going to make a crust with this beautiful mixture we have. So we're gonna just try to create a coating on top of our fish fillet. In certain towns, they even add raisins to this crust. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet in my savory dishes, so I'm skipping that part, but if you want, just add a couple of tablespoons of soaked raisins. Final touch, a little bit of drizzled olive oil, and we go in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes. And here is our cod arracanato. The word arracanato, it's a word from a dialect. We are not sure what it means, but it probably refers to this oregano-scented crust, because arracanato might come from oregano. In any case, it is a very smart way to cook it because this beautiful crust gives some nice texture, while the fish at the bottom stays nice and moist. What is interesting for me to notice about salted cod is how it changes its meaning from Italy to the Americas. As we know, in the early 20th centuries, many families from southern Italy moved to the Americas, either to the United States, to Canada, to Argentina, and of course they brought with them recipes like this. But over time, because of lack of ingredients or other reasons, many of the different regional recipes disappears. And that's where the difference is. While in Italy we still have dozens and dozens of recipes, each representing a different town, a different region, so basically it is an element of differentiation, in the Americas is actually an element of unification, because the whole Italian-American community, no matter if originally coming from the south, from the north, from central Italy, they all ate baccalà, especially because of the Feast of the Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve. It became a very important ingredient and really an element that identifies that Italian-American community. I think that's beautiful. Let me know what you think in the comment, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and send to your food lovers friends, and I'll see you on the next one. Arrivederci!